Any resemblance to reality is purely coincidental. Clock time.
Amanda's Love Part 2. Sometimes I dream of Jupiter's moons. Clock time. From the Space Corrupt saga. Any resemblance to reality is purely coincidental. Year 2345. The line between humans and machines blurred a long time ago. On the terminal screen, the contract flickers with the patience of a debt collector. Clause 12.7 Right to forget, fee, subsidized, reversal, subject to approval. Amanda stares at it as her finger moves the cursor, like someone leafing through a will she didn't write. The letters are neat, honest in their cruelty, electronic signature, tacit acceptance, seal of the NEUROTEK conglomerate. Below, a thin line, by waiving claims, you authorize the editing of your memory. She sighs and closes the window out of habit. The panoptic cities of Earth function like emotional credit agencies, records, debits, monthly limits. On the screen on her desk, Amanda had already seen the codes that distributed affection by levels: bronze for those who receive subsidized affection packages, silver for those who pay with overtime, gold for those who are part of corporate clans, platinum for those the company decides to keep alive for their usefulness. There's a bar that moves in shades: green if you comply, orange if you exceed, red if you're approaching forced memory cleansing. That day, her bar showed a timid green. One less disaster for the moment. In her office, the ceilings are screens that project edited sunsets to calm the staff. The supervisor's voice, a friendly summary with an announcer's timbre, comes through the loudspeaker: night shift, remember to update your effective logs. The company appreciates your cooperation. Amanda mutes the sound with her arm and switches on an old console she keeps under the table, the offline mode no one should ever use. That mode is a bug she knows all too well. It was her first toy back when she still believed she could fix the system from the inside. Contracts aren't just words. They're patches applied to the emotional cortex, routines that limit crying, modulate pleasure to maintain productivity, erase distracting names. There are clauses for everything: permission to fall in love, a maximum number of mourning periods, limits on spontaneous creativity based on productivity quotas. The unions of the past were called unions, now they're effective custodians that trade credits of freedom of thought for essential resources. A technician at the next table complains quietly, they debited my affectionate credits because I didn't update a delete. No one laughs to avoid debits. Amanda remembers when she signed her first contract. She was young, with the polished smile that recruitment ads offer. They gave her starting points, a subsidy, and access to training with AI tutors. That package included everything: her first empathy patch, the signature that would make her modules cooperate with NEUROTEK's systems. She designed those patches. She tested them, fine-tuned them, and shipped them. At first, she thought she was improving lives, then she learned she was welding and securing chains. In the corporate cafeteria, affection is regulated like coffee, by the portion. People order 5 minutes of empathy as if it were a hot beverage. Amanda observes and thinks about the mechanics. What happens when feeling becomes currency? What happens to people who no longer have enough credit to remember? Sometimes she dreams of Jupiter's moons, of AI monks reciting stories without charge, and it occurs to her that for an alternative to exist, something is needed that isn't listed in Clause 12.7, organized courage. That afternoon or that evening, the difference between sun and shade is a luxury. Amanda has to present a review of her effective, emotional stabilization module. In the meeting room, executives from NEUROTEK, they look at her like someone ordering a piece of furniture: empty expectation, clear demand. One of them, with the gaze of someone who never gets their hands dirty, asks her why her code leaves a small leak in the effective hash. A tolerance lapse, Amanda says in a measured voice. A useful door for authorized backups. A neutrality hangs in the air, almost like a sentence. After the meeting, as people disperse to take their labeled capsules, Amanda receives an encrypted notification on her personal device. The signature is improbable, a concatenation of numbers that only someone with the patience for dead files could create. She reads the first line and feels a pull. Module, external access. Origin, NISA. Identifier. A archivist. The word archivist warms the back of her neck. Without yet knowing why, what always happens when the possibility arises occurs, her fingers tremble with restrained excitement. She leaves the building through a service corridor, passes through the security checkpoint that sprays microdoses of calm, and thinks that tomorrow could be a major cleanup. Online reports suggest massive checks next week. She decides not to return to her apartment, where dimmed lights and clean routines await her. Instead, she walks toward the orbital port, where memory packets exchanged between Earth and Mars arrive. She tells herself it will be a visit out of curiosity, a minimal check. She carries the effective hash in her pocket and the tablet with its patches under her arm. She won't notify anyone. In the transfer area, the boxes are labeled with regulations: Human Resources 3rd, File B Confidentiality. An operator offers her a memory implant file, Sensual Memories, on sale. Amanda waves it away as if swatting a fly. She looks for a connection point she already knew about from rumors, an abandoned terminal that conceals a listening frequency. There, with the tablet in ghost mode, he connects to the red network. A name appears on the screen: Alex Underground Station. A nearly ceremonial ping signals a response: if you want, come. There are memories that can't be contained in contracts. Alex's underground station is what they call an emotional restoration center: recycled servers, clandestine AI networks, and a scent of vegetable cream and toast that never tasted of absence until she experienced it. Alex greets her with the calm of someone who has seen too many broken souls to be frightened by one more. He takes out a tin of mint tea to share and opens a module with encrypted documents on the table. In the image, as the pixels breathe, Amanda sees names that recognize shadows, versions of stories that on the official network appear as glitches, accidents, or registration anomalies. This is where what the corporation erases is kept, Alex says without drama. For romantic reasons. For memory. Identity. Amanda stares at a row bearing her own name, followed by codes, dates, and a note that makes her frown: edition, authorized by NEUROTEK. She opens a file. It's her own past, cut into strips like someone mending a tapestry. In the reproduction, there are fragments she doesn't quite recognize: a laugh that isn't hers, her own voice asking questions, and then a silence where the words should come. And the name Alex. A jump in the sequence. Amanda feels the emptiness like a burn. So much she had stopped remembering. "Why are you keeping this for me?" she asks, more controlled than she feels, and Alex answers with the honesty of an archivist: "Because if you don't remember yourself, then who are you?" Amanda's gaze sweeps over several copies, versions where she remembers without patches, versions where Amanda was more herself, versions where her smile and her questions and her choices had been broader and freer. In each one, there are small differences that resemble one another. She wonders for the first time in a long time if her identity is something she possesses or something the corporation negotiates. Alex looks at her and offers a simple idea: "If you want, I can show you your full version. But it comes at a price. The clandestine files aren't traded for money, they're exchanged for risk. The city is monitored from time to time by commercial probes that identify patterns. One slip-up and they could both end up on the anomalous subjects list." Amanda knows that taking that step could mean, in practice, becoming invisible to the official network, a disadvantage in everyday life, but a victory for being herself. "What's the price?" she asks. "Your contract with NEUROTEK has clauses you don't understand until they're applied to you. I can force a download, but that means your file as a high-value individual will be destroyed," Alex says. "It'll push you to the margins of the system, and the corporations want losses." Amanda thinks about what they've already taken from her, and what she could lose. She thinks about the emotional hash she's carried in her pocket since the maintenance room, a living note that throbs without permission. She knows her life as a contract employee would end if she accepts. She also knows she doesn't want to keep creating patches for others because now she knows her own past has been edited. She makes a gesture that's neither courageous nor cowardly, it's a quick calculation where heart and logic meet. She closes her eyes, imagines the claws on her skin like a scar, and feels the decision plant itself in her chest like a seed. Do it, she says. But first, let me hear what my own laughter sounds like. Alex nods with the calm of someone who has waited a long time to hear those words. With hands that grope among modules, she begins the preparation to extract the complete version of Amanda. Outside, the contracts continue to flicker on optogenetic color screens, and the world continues to measure memories, love, tenderness, and happiness in credits. Inside the station, amid the hum of fans and the smell of toast, Alex presses a key that bears no corporate logo. The light from the screens reflects in Amanda's eyes. In the corner of the monitor, a new label appears, seemingly unavoidably, Operation, Complete Restoration. She presses her lips together, not out of fear, but with a kind of anticipation, like the emptiness before music. In the distance, a minor alert flickers, protocol review in a remote sector. It's a concern, nothing more. But when Alex initiates the first reconstruction, something in the network feels a strange vibration, as if a dampened string had been taut. Amanda lets the intermittent light, coded, programmed, containing the files of all her personal memories, cover her face. Deep down, Mars feels like a crooked carnival, a mix of advertisements, clandestine sales, and the promise of shared memory. She doesn't know how long what she wants to recover will last. She doesn't know if what's been restored will be her or a collection of masks. She only knows one thing: for the first time in a long time, the option to remember without regulations isn't just a clause in her contract. It's a choice. And choices, even if they come at a price, tend to make noise. On the roof, the city projects a digital sunset. Below, in the subway station, someone activates a file that could change everything. As she leaves, Amanda carries the effective hash pinned to her chest, like an unofficial promise. She walks toward the hatch with the steps of someone who isn't returning to the comfort of a clause. On the terminal screen, a new line flashes: Origin, Psi algorithm possible rewriting mark. Amanda understands it, the word hits her like a name. And in her mouth, for the first time, a laugh forms that isn't a purchased program.